Hello everyone, welcome back to Howling Hoosier Outdoors. Today we're going to be going over the 5+1 fire ignition methods that you should consider for your survival kit. Getting right into this, this is one of those things that is an extremely personal choice for everybody, and I always recommend carrying 3 of these ignition sources with you. That way if one fails, you still have another option. Alright, so getting right into this. The first and primary one that should be everyone's go-to choice are these. This is a lighter. Everyone knows that I prefer Zippos. However, I will typically keep this on my person. This goes with me anywhere because these are bomb-proof and bulletproof. They're nice and wind-resistant, and then even if they don't work, they still function as an emergency sparker. But also in my actual kit, I will carry a backup of one of these normal butane lighters. And that's because these things get somewhere around 3,000 lights, and I won't have to worry about refueling them. But they do get temperamental when it's cold out, and they get very temperamental when it's wet. And then I can wrap it with duct tape, which is an emergency fire starter. It's duct tape. You can use it for virtually anything. Moving on to the next type of fire ignition method is my personal favorite, and that is the Ferrocerium rod. And these things come in all different shapes and sizes as well. Here's a mini one with a glow-in-the-dark handle. I've seen necklace ones of these. Here's a magnesium-backed one that you scrape off the magnesium shavings, then hit it with a scraper, and then it combusts. And these things are kind of like the honey badger. They will spark, and they don't care. There's nothing that's going to stop them. The only thing to remember with these guys is that it has to be a harder material than the ferro rod that you're scraping with. One of the common practices is to hit it with the back of your knife. I've also seen that work with glass. I've also seen it work with other rocks like flint. I think the concept is anything harder than a 7. Most of them come with their own high carbon steel strikers, but I've also seen it work with a stainless steel, like a more neck knife, the Eldris, if I remember right for the name of the model. But that's my personal favorite. Hands down, honey badger don't care. It works no matter what. The next one on the list we're going to be going over is a solar ignition method. And this will work. What I have personally found is that it works better with the size of the lens. A lot of individuals out there believe that it has to have a magnification of 5 or higher for it to work. If you have a big old Fresnel lens like this, it is going to work. And it takes practice. I've done a video on this in the past. It takes practice to get good at it, but when you get good with it, it is one of the better options because you're not using any resources to actually get the fire going. You can see this one is a pocket Fresnel lens. We've got one here that is a purpose-built scientific lens. And I also have one here that is just an old binocular lens that works just fine. Moving on to the next one, we have our Flattened Steel. And in order to get a Flattened Steel fire to work is an art in of itself. But you need your flint, you need your flint rock, then you need a steel, and then you strike it onto charred cloth or charred punk wood, charred material. I've done another video on this in the past as well. This is a good concept to know. Because if you can use a flint striker for it, you can also use the back of a hard carbon steel knife in order to get sparks off of it. So you have the option to get an ignition going without a flint and steel kit by still using a flint and steel method. It's a good concept. It's a pain to get going, and it takes a lot of work. There is a good learning curve on it. But it is one of the really good ignition methods once you do get it down. Next on our list, we got matches. Matches are really, they're a personal choice. You can get them in stormproof matches like these UCO storm matches. You can put them in match cases. Mors Kozansky, one of the great bushcrafters of all time, he carried paper matches because they're extremely lightweight and you get 30 of them in one of these small paper packs. Problem with matches is if you do not waterproof them in any way, they're going to have problems. I personally like using incense matches because these come wrapped in tin foil, so they're already protected and they're just extremely lightweight. They also come in bigger packs than your standard book matches. And now for the +1, the one that is the bane of my existence, and I absolutely do not like in any way, shape, or form, and that is the friction fire. This is a bow drill bearing from PK Pathfinder Knife Shop at Self-Reliance Outfitters. It's in the shape of an arrowhead. I know SE Knives and Company also makes one, but this is a bearing block for the spindle that you would then put onto your fireboard, and that is how you would create a friction fire. Now, I do not personally own one of those kits. They are, you can get the kits off Amazon, but it is always better to go out and make your own. And the reason those are the bane of my existence is because it is not something you want to have to rely on. I've done fire plows, I've done bow drill fires, I've done the hand drills. They suck. It is a pain to get them going. And if you're in a bad situation where you're going borderline hypothermic, you don't want to have to worry about a friction fire. I don't want to have to worry about carving the spindle. I don't want to have to worry about carving the hardwood, the hearth board. And I really don't want to have to worry about carving a fire plow either. And so it's not really a considered option for my survival kit. But I will say that it is an option. It's good to have. It's like the Flattened Steel. It is an option. It's good to have a working knowledge of it. However, in all practicality, in a real world situation, it's not something that I would want to ever have to rely on. So anyway, that is just a good overview of the ignition methods that you should probably pay attention to and get good with. I'm sure there's other ones out there. I've seen emergency sparkers. I've seen these emergency pop flares. I've seen emergency fire starters that are also matches. Bomb-proof and foolproof, I'm sure, but I don't have a whole lot of personal experience with those, so this is what I know. But yeah, if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, questionable life choices, or epiphanies, please feel free to leave them in the comments section. Thank y'all, folks. Stay awesome.